ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मा आदं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरि ओम, salutations to all. So we were seeing the second mantra, सर्वं ह्येतद् ब्रह्म अयम आत्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयम् आत्मा चतुष्पात्. So we saw the first line, sarvam ह्येतद् brahma, all this is verily Brahman, meaning to say that earlier it was said all this is Om, then it is said all this is Brahman. So to make us also understand clearly that Om is Brahman. Om is not just a means. In Upasana, if we want to use Omkar as a symbol to make the mind quiet, then we say Omkar is a etadalambanam shreshtham etadalambanam param. There we say Omkar is a means to make the mind pure, single pointed. But in its true nature, Omkar is Brahman. And we will see that the Upanishad itself will elaborate that. So he says, Sarvam Hyetad Brahma. All this is Brahman. And what is Brahman? We saw Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna. That which is not conditioned by space, time, object. That which is not limited by these, which is all pervasive, so not limited by space, and which beyond space also. Space is all pervasive by itself. That which is the illuminer of even space. And we saw how the space and time are projections of the mind. That which is illuminer of the mind. So Brahman is not limited by space at all. Is not limited by time. What is today is not there tomorrow. It is ephemeral, perishable. Brahman is not conditioned by time. Brahman again is illuminer of the mind, which is projecting time. And not conditioned by object. It is same in everything as existence, consciousness, bliss. The name and the form can keep changing. So the substratum of the universe is Brahman. Sarvam Hyetad Brahma. Now, when we say all this is Brahman, then the Upanishad goes on to say, Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma is that Brahman. So, three statements now. First, all this is Omkar. That was said in the first mantra. Second, all this is Brahman. So Om is Brahman. Now it is said this Atma is that Brahman. So the self is Om and that self is Brahman. Meaning the consciousness enlivening this individual equipment is not different in each one. It is that same consciousness which is the substratum of the whole universe. So this is a Mahavakya. Now, how many Mahavakyas? So what is a Mahavakya first of all? A Mahavakya is a statement that indicates the identity of Jiva and Brahman. Essential nature of Jiva and Brahman is one infinite consciousness, which indicates absolute oneness, where there is no duality. That statement is called as a Mahavakya. There are many statements in the Upanishads. All the statements don't become Mahavakya. So, different statements, if we say, Yadalpam tad martyam, that which is limited is perishable. Now, the purpose of this statement is what? To create Vivek, this Nitya Anitya Vivek, and to produce Vairagya. From that which is perishable, I learn to withdraw. Alpe sukham na asti, bhuma eva sukham. There is no happiness in that which is limited. When we say happiness, we mean ananda, the state of bliss, permanent happiness. Pleasure may be there. So when he said alpe sukham na asti, Chandogya Upanishad will say, bhuma eva sukham. Bhuma there means infinite. Happiness is only in the infinite. Again, this is to produce viveka. That what I truly seek is not out there. So it is to turn within. It is to help us to analyze our experiences and come to understand that yes, I may have experienced a lot of temporary pleasures, but still there's fulfillment is not there. Then suppose it is said Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Now this statement will indicate that nature of Brahman is Satyam Jnanam and Anantam. Or Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti iti tad brahma vijignyasasva. This is Taittiriya Upanishad. This will indicate Brahman. Then what is Brahman? That from which the whole world rises, all the beings. Yatova imani bhutani jayante. Having risen, it is a substratum in which they exist, they stay, into which they go back. Like the waves rise in the ocean, they stay in the ocean, go back into the ocean. That is the ocean. Now, like that, there are statements which will indicate Brahman, which will indicate the perishable nature of the world, which will even indicate the nature of the Atma. So, when one reads, there are all different levels of the statements in the Upanishads, in Vedanta. But the specific statement that indicates oneness, that is called as Mahavakya. So when we say I am Atma Brahma, this Atma is that Brahman, then the oneness is established. Otherwise, the oneness is not yet established. And so Mahavakya will shift the identification, remove all the false notions that are there, and all the Adhyaropa which Vedanta does, the Mahavakyas will remove. apavada it will do. So if we say that I am this jiva, then Vedanta will say, you are, who is this jiva? So this five, so pancha kosha, the jiva is made up of five koshas, or here you will see in these three states of waking, dream, deep sleep, or three bodies. Mahavakya will negate all that, saying ki you are not that, you are the self that illumines all this. And in that self, these are not there. This is Jada Vastu. So, a Mahavakya will do the Apavada. It will destroy. Then why did it introduce all this Panchakosha and three bodies and three states and all that? That is for us to lift our identification. That is for us to have a certain understanding. It's a method of teaching. It's a model which is used. Obviously, relative reality, it is there. It is not that it is not there, some theoretical thing created. It is there. But before we came to Vedanta, we didn't know. No? Panchakosha, what is Panchakosha? Who knew? At least I didn't know what is Panchakosha. What are these three states? No idea. And there is a fourth state. No, one doesn't know. So even the personality one doesn't know. Then the negation of the personality will happen. So the Mahavakya helps to not only negate that false identification, it will also connect us to that infinite. Connect meaning it will help us to recognize is already that which is infinite. Nothing, no connection, nothing has to be made. It is already there. It will just help us to recognize that and to know that as the infinite. Otherwise, one still thinks Atma is some small little thing inside the body, inside the mind, inside the intellect somewhere. It is not one small thing. It is Brahma, that which is infinite. I am Atma. Brahma means that. This Atma is that Brahman which is the substratum of the whole world, meaning you and the world are one. You and Ishvara also are one. Ishvara in the sense is Brahman. That Brahman is you. So there is no difference between Jiva, Jagat, Jagadishvara. That statement is called Mahavakya, which will indicate Advaita absolutely, which will not admit any difference anywhere. So the statement, I am Atma Brahma, this Atma is that Brahman. So when we say, I am this, so what is the meaning of this? This indicates remoteness. This indicates nearness. That indicates remoteness, far. So that computer, this book. So that computer is far, book is near. That book, this mala. So this mala is nearer to me than the book. And compared to that computer, the book is nearer. Compared to the book, this mala is nearer. Compared to the mala, one can say this shirt or whatever, this kurta. So this will keep indicating what is nearer, nearer, near. So then we say this body, this prana. This is why the Panchakosha model will help. That which is subtler, is closer, is more pervasive. So this body, this prana, this mind, this intellect, this is a journey within. And closer, closer, closer. Now compared to the prana, the body is further. So we say that body, this prana. Compared to the mind, prana is further. So we say that prana, this mind. So what was this at one point can become that. And what was that can become this. That is relative. Now, like that, when we go, this mind, that prana, that mind, this intellect, that intellect, this ahankar, that ahankar, this atma. Now this atma will never become that. There is no other thing illumining this. Because if there is something else illumining the atma, then atma has become object, perishable. And then the experiencer is something else, illuminer is someone else. And this will go in infinite regress. So this aham, I am, is the atma. Now I am ego, I am the karta, I have done this, I am successful, I am angry, I am hungry, I am tall. All these are identifications. I am remains common. That I am will never become I am not. All these others can become I am not. In the sense they exist for a short while, then they can perish. Or the state of theirs will change. So I am hungry now, after some time I will be feeling satisfied and full. I am loving right now, after some time I can become unhappy and angry. That will go on changing. But the state of I am will not change. Body, mind, intellect, aware we are in the waking state, not aware in the dream state, not aware in the deep sleep state. Dream projection happens, of course, but deep sleep not aware of body, mind, intellect, nothing. But still I am. So that I am, which is the closest, meaning which is me only. There is nothing more closer to me than this I am. Everything else is an object of this I am, is away from me. If you read Gurudev's commentary, beautifully he has explained. So, you see here, we use the pronoun this as a contrast to that. We say that wall and this book when the book is nearer to us than the wall. But this book becomes in our concept that book with reference to this shirt that we are wearing, since the shirt is nearer to us than the book. Analyzing thus, if we identify with the intellect, even our own body and mind should become that body and that mind. Therefore, the entire mass of things indicated by the pronoun that constitute the world of objects, while that center within ourselves, which is this, is the point to be noted, is the point to be pointed out by the Rishi as this, and that which is thus indicated by the fundamental and the absolute this. So remember this word what Gurudev uses, absolute this. Absolute this means that which will never become that, which can never be objectified. That is the absolute this is indicated by I am. Absolute this should never ever, should not be ever a theme for the pronoun that. That's called absolute this. The very last point at which all objects indicated by that exhaust in a final this, with reference to which there cannot be anything else nearer to us, should therefore be our own self, the Atman, this Atman. The absolute this is then the spiritual center in ourselves, and since the spiritual factor is eternal and all pervading, the center in ourselves is the center everywhere. This is called the Mahavakya. The individual self is the universal self. In English, this is the Mahavakya. In Sanskrit, what is said, I am Atma Brahma, this is in English. The spiritual factor is eternal and all pervading. The center in ourselves is the center everywhere. The individual self is the universal self. And hence the Shruti says this Atman is Brahman. This oft quoted declaration is considered to be a major text, Mahavakya, by the seekers of Vedanta. And what is this Mahavakya? So he explains. The Mahavakya is a scriptural declaration which has got almost an inexhaustible wealth of significances, over which the more a seeker meditates, the more he shall find fresh woods and new pastures to roam about through contemplation. Ultimately, we shall reach a point from where no more thoughts can dare rise. All thoughts shall lapse into silence or the joy of self-realization. So Mahavakya will lead to this state. Steady contemplation on the Mahavakya will lead a person to this clarity. It is not an experience. It is recognition of what is already there, which is limitless. So the divine spark of life in us, experienced as the self, technically called in Vedanta as the Atman, is to be shown to us, if not by directly pointing it out to us, at least by the significances in the sacred language. The technique adopted in Vedanta is to show the infinite by a process of intellection and logical analysis, a ruthless discriminative analysis of our experiences with the names and forms, through which this life force constantly and consistently acts in and around us. This is what beautifully Gurudeva has explained, that how Ayam indicates the Atma. Ayam Atma. These two, when we combine, it indicates the self in enlivening each individual, all beings actually. Now this self is that Brahman. Ayam Atma Brahma. Because the consciousness is not limited by anything. All limitations which are there are belonging to the conditionings. Atma has no limitation. By itself, this Atma is Brahman. Please remember, Ayam Atma Brahman. The word Asti there is implied in Sanskrit. This Atma is Brahman. Is Asti. In the statement, Ayam Atma Brahma. That's all. Asti is not there, but it is implied. This Atma is Brahman. It did not say this Atma will become Brahman. This Atma is a part of Brahman. This Atma will merge to be Brahman. We will merge with Brahman. It doesn't say any of that. It came from Brahman, it will merge to become one with Brahman. It is a part of Brahman, it will become Brahman. No, it is Brahman. Full stop. Ayam Atma Brahma. This is the recognition one has to have. And this will happen through steady contemplation. That this Atma is Brahman and that Brahman alone is me. Please remember, the word Atma indicates I. The real I. The word Atma is not some abstract thing which is incomprehensible. Every moment we are experiencing aham, 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 aham. Only our identification is with the false, the equipment, with all that which is that. If we negate the identification with all which is that, which is objectifiable, then Atma alone remains. And that Atma which remains, after you negate everything, that final thing what remains, which is non-negatable, where there is no such identification of I am a seeker, I am a meditator, I am a contemplator, all those also are gone. What is that infinite consciousness. Which is why in the Gita also Bhagavan says, the final message of Bhagavan is what? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Sarva dharman parityajya, Bhagavan said. You drop, renounce all dharma. When somebody reads that, one doesn't have the background, one will misunderstand, saying, what is this? Bhagavan is supposed to tell everybody to follow dharma, and that's what he told everybody, I mean Arjun, in the whole Gita. But final message is you drop it. Arey, ye kya hai? First he said you do the duty, which is only with this duty only you will, be purified and everything. And now he's saying you drop it. Maybe he got frustrated, saying, अब ठीक है तुमको करना है तो करो, नहीं करना है तो मत करो. Just drop it, man. Enough. How many questions are going on asking? I told you what I had to tell you. You don't want to listen? Drop it. Some people think like in frustration maybe he said that. No, Sarva Dharman. This body, mind, intellect, Deha Dharma, Prana Dharma, Mano Dharma, Buddhi Dharma, Ahankara Dharma. Drop all identities. Drop all roles. Everything gone. Meditator also gone. Contemplator gone. Whatever identity I have, I am a seeker, I am a contemplator, meditator, whatever. English may not have a word called contemplator, but I'm just saying. Drop. What will remain? That is Atma. And that Atma is Brahman. That there is no limitation to that. The most famous example for that in Vedanta is Ghatakash and Mahakash. There are not two. There is no Ghatakash, the pot space, separate from Mahakash, the outer space, total space. There is one space only. But because of the conditioning of the pot, it appears that that pot space is different, outside space is different. So the house has a drawing room, has a kitchen, has a bathroom, puja room. So it looks as though these are all different spaces. At relative level, yes, each space has its own purpose and one uses it for that purpose. But actually there is no division, there is only one space. Now how to recognize that one space? To recognize that the pot space inside and the space outside is one, do we have to actually destroy the pot? No, it's a shift in thinking. The division is in the head. For limitation of example, either there is a pot actually there. Don't say nahi, but there is a pot there. That pot can't divide the space. If pot was able to divide the space, then you take the pot from here to here, then this will become vacuum. There is no space here then. Vacuum meaning there is no space. That's what I meant. Otherwise you will say vacuum means air is not there. No. That spot, if that pot actually divided space, then this pot will carry the same space there. But that is not happening. So there is no division actually. Pot is in the space, moving in the space from here to here. It is, space is not divided at all. That's the flexibility of this pot example. This house we are not able to move like that. So that house example, room space, bathroom space and drawing room space, that one is not able to understand that clearly. But this pot, you will move from here to here, nothing. So one knows, okay, this pot moved from here to here, but space, nothing happened, no change. So in that same way, we don't have to destroy the body, mind, intellect to know. What did Bhagavan say? Sarva dharman parityajya. Dharman parityajya, he said. You drop the identification with the BMI, with the roles. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. You surrender to me, which is one. What is one is only the Atma, which is Brahman. There is, everywhere else is duality. So ekam there means the Atma or the self, which is Brahman. Why? Because Atma is that which is infinite. Infinity is one. Anything which is finite is already conditioned by space, time, object. It will be limited. So Ahankara limited, my intellect limited, mind limited, prana, body, objects, everything is limited. There can be many. But one is only Atma. Samadhi space is only one. Dream space is different, no? And it is also element, finally it comes, it goes, perishable. That one which is infinite is imperishable. Surrender to that one in that language. When Bhagavan says Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Sharanam Raja meaning you drop all identities, you will be that. In language of Vedanta we are talking. In language of Bhakti we say there is one Ishvara only. You surrender all Jiva Bhav, everything you surrender to that one. Then Ishvaratva also will drop. There is only one Brahman after that. There Mam does not mean me as only Krishna as a form. If people interpret it like that, then they have all fanaticism. Only Krishna you should surrender to. He will only liberate you. Nobody else will liberate you. You surrender to anybody else, you will go to hell. Wrong interpretation. Whichever form you surrender to. Mam there means Ishvara. That form, if you surrender Jiva Bhav to that form, then gone. That Jiva Bhav is gone, then Ishvaratva also gone, there will be only Brahman. That is non-dual realization. So he says, Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will liberate you from all sins. What does that mean? I can do sins and then just say surrender? The surrender won't happen if my mind is so sinful. Surrender only won't happen. Papa there means what? The false identification, because of which all this is happening. The avidya, I don't know who am I, and then thinking of myself as the BMI, as the jiva, all papa happens because of that. What they call original sin. The cause of all that is the original sin, not knowing who am I. Bhagavan says that if that is gone, all sins of that jiva, everything finished, because the jiva only has died, is not there. The waker, the dream character woke up from the dream, realized that there was nothing, I am only the waker. Everything is finished. All the dream actions, the dream results, consequences, everything gone. All duality gone. So, I am Atma Brahma is a shift in understanding. That I am not this jiva, I am not this perishable entity, I am this Atma. The word Atma is this consciousness, and that Atma is this whole Brahman. It is one. The more one meditates on that pot space and the outer space example, more one will understand this is only a, like the pot. This equipment is like that. There is no meaning there is no need to destroy this equipment. There is no need to think that this will now become one. This Atma will become one. Nothing. This is already that Brahman. Only recognition is required. That's all. Of who am I? Am I this BMI or am I this Om? Both are existing simultaneously. That is the point. In what sense? If as long as I am seeing duality, they are existing simultaneously. This is the enlivener Om. This is the BMI. Now I am thinking I am the BMI. I have forgotten Om. Now what I have to do? Shift from this to this. This will still continue to function. But my identity is very clear. That this is a role, this is the reality. Today I mixed up both. This role is my reality. I don't know what is this. Vedanta is saying you are this is only a role. So I am Atma Brahma, beautiful Mahavakya this is. And when one understands this, then what happens? Muktaha, liberated. One doesn't, the more one contemplates on Vedanta, one is asserting one's own true self that I am Brahman. I am not this jiva. If somebody says, no, but right now I am Jiva, Swamiji, I am, क्या करें? In time I will become Brahman when I become purified. The Upanishad is saying that Guru is saying, अरे you are Brahman. No. अभी तो थोड़ा हम जीव हैं, उसके बाद ब्रह्म बन जाएंगे, साधना करके हम ब्रह्म बन जाएंगे. नो, साधना करके कोई ब्रह्म नहीं बन सकता. Nobody has ever become Brahman by doing sadhana. Sadhana is only to drop false identification, and this is the highest sadhana. There is no other sadhana greater than this contemplation on Mahavakya. Everything else can make me ready for this. Puja, Vrata, Japa, Tapa, Upvas, Tirtha, Yajna, Dana, all this is very important, no doubt, but it will make me only purified, make the mind ready, make the mind sattvic for this Nididhyasan. Steady contemplation, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Atma Brahma actually means Aham Brahmasmi. Though the two Mahavakyas, as two Mahavakyas, they are different, but all the Mahavakyas indicate the same. And I am Atma Brahma literally also means that only. Because the Atma word is Aham. And Asmi, I already told you, it is implied in this. Asti, in this I am Atma Brahma. So, they actually mean the same. So, if one is contemplating, I am Atma Brahma. Beautiful it is that I am that Om, I am that Brahman, I am this whole world. There is absolute oneness. There is no duality anywhere. Neha nanasti kinchana, Upanishad says. There is no duality anywhere. Mrityosa mrityum apnoti yaiha nana eva pashyati. If one sees duality, one will go from death to death, not from birth to birth. Death to death. Meaning what? Every minute one is identifying with that which is perishable. This is dying. Every minute this is dying. Until I identify with this, I will keep taking new bodies also. So death to death includes birth to birth. Hence, this is the Mukhya Sadhana. Nididhyasan on Mahavakya is the main sadhana in Vedanta. When we say Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, this is the main sadhana in Vedanta. Listen to the Mahavakya from a Shrotriya Brahmanistha Guru. If you are ready, it will happen immediately, is what Vedanta says. The realization is instant. When the mind is ready, one will recognize, yes, I am that. I am that meaning I am Atma, not I as a mind, as a Jiva. If I am not ready, then yes, in other times I should do whatever, Karma Yoga, Upasana, prepare and again come back to Shravan. See, Vedanta Shravan one should not leave. Even if the mind is not ready, unless the mind is in a very dull state or negative state, then of course, then you prepare and then come to Vedanta. But otherwise, if the mind has Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha in a regular level, which one has to overcome, Vikshepa, wandering of the mind, which one has to take care of, then one should continue to do Karma Yoga and Upasana. Side by side, listen to Advaita Vedanta. Because then the goal will be clear. And one will also be able to understand the progress. The purity of mind has happened. Earlier, I was not able to contemplate steadily. Today, I am able to contemplate. Earlier, my identification with the BMI was very strong. Today, it is lesser. Earlier, my self-importance and the need for recognition and praise and appreciation was very strong. Today, it is not. One will be able to see the difference. While listening also, the mind has vairagya, so the single pointedness will increase. Absorption will increase, all that. So, Vedanta Shravan, one should not leave. One should not say कि variety नहीं है स्वामी जी. Same बात बोले जाए, Brahman, you are Brahman, 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 what? We are not here for variety. We are here to know the truth. And Upanishads are saying it in different ways. Some certain clarity arises as one studies. So side by side, as the preparation is happening, one should continue to study Advaita Vedanta. And in the sadhana, if one feels ready, one should contemplate. Suppose you have limited time. Suppose I have only 30 minutes in a day. For whatever reasons, I am doing so many things. I have so many roles and responsibilities. I have only, let's say, 30 minutes or 15 minutes. Then what should I do? Whichever sadhana you like, you can do, no doubt. One can say, I will do japa 15 minutes, I will chant Bhagwan's name. Very good. If you say, I will do stotram chanting, or I will do kirtan, or I will do a puja, panchopachara puja, one can do whichever sadhana, very helpful. But if you ask the gradation of sadhana, then what Ramana Maharshi said, na, Uttamastavad Uchchamandatah Chittajam Japa Dhyanam Uttamam. This is a gradation, simple. Uttamastavad, greater than the stotram chanting, is Uccha Japa. So puja, stotram chanting, suktam chanting, all that is one level. Subtler than that is loud japa. Subtler than that it is slow japa. Not slow, matlab volume wise slow. Then volume wise not slow, less volume. Then mental japa. Uttamastavad, Uchcha Manda, then Chitta Jam, Japa, then Dhyanam, Nididhyasan. This. Again he says, Bheda Bhavanat Sohamityasau Bhavanabhida Pavani Mata. Bheda Bhavana, where there is duality, compared to that, the non-dual thinking, Sohamiti Asau Bhavana, that is more purifying. So subtlety wise, Nididhyasana is the highest sadhana. And that's why Gurudev used to say meditation is the highest vocation in life. It is not something that one can take it for granted, and one should not use that for just, ordinary benefits. Why do you meditate? Because I need to reduce my BP and cholesterol. Okay, I mean, one can do sadhana for that also if one wants to do that, and that will be a secondary benefit. Or one may start off with that, you start with that, but that's not the main purpose. Main purpose is to drop this. So steady contemplation on this, I am Atma Brahma, I am this Brahman. I am not Jiva, I am not body, I am not this entity, these are all the roles I am playing. I am Atma Brahma. Very beautiful Mahavakya. Now this, how many Mahavakyas are there? So one will say 4. No, there are many Mahavakyas. Every Upanishad will have minimum 1 Mahavakya. As I said, Mahavakya is a statement indicating oneness of Jiva and Brahman, which will remove that ignorance of the Jiva. What the Jiva's true nature is, that it will reveal, and that it will reveal as infinite. That is Mahavakya. So Mahavakyas are many. 4 have been identified as main 4. 1 from each Veda. Now, who identified this? How did this come about? That is not known. But what is known is, in Advaita Vedanta, especially Shankaracharya ji, when he has made 4 mathas, he gave one matha, the responsibility of one Veda. So Puri Matha, Rig Veda, Sringeri Matha, Yajur Veda, this Dwarka Math, Sama Veda, and Joshi Math, Jyotir Math there in the north is Atharva Veda. This Mahavakya is from the Atharva Veda. So, I am Atma Brahma is the Atharva Vediya Mahavakya. Prajnanam Brahma is Rigvediya Mahavakya. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi is Yajurvediya Mahavakya. Tattvamasi Samavediya Mahavakya. Ayam Atma Brahma Atharvavediya Mahavakya. These are four mathas to whom one Veda was given for them to preach, propagate, protect that Veda, live that lifestyle. So broadly, this is how it has been known. But remember, Mahavakyas are many. Every Upanishad has one Mahavakya minimum. So in that Atharva Veda, one of the main Mahavakyas is this Ayam Atma Brahma. And what Shankaracharya says here in his Bhashya, if you see, very nicely he says that the student, remember we said that there's one student who has gone to a teacher, we have imagined that, which is also a fact. And only the name and that context is not known here, but otherwise there's a student who has gone to a teacher. So he says here that सर्वं ह्येतद् ब्रह्मेति सर्वं यदुक्तम् ओंकार मात्रम् इति तदेतद् ब्रह्म तच्च ब्रह्म परोक्ष अभिहितं प्रत्यक्षतो विशेषेण निर्दिशति अयम् आत्मा ब्रह्म इति विशेषेण निर्दिशति. Specifically, how is the student being how is the teacher indicating this? Visheshena nirdishati, which means through the abhinaya, by pointing to the heart. The teacher is pointing the hand to the heart, saying Ayam Atma Brahma, like that. So that is the interesting thing here. Shankaracharya says, because this is very unique in this Mahavakya, only this comes, that the teacher is pointing to the heart and then saying that this Atma is that Brahman. You know, in the commentary of Akhandanandji Maharaj, he has said this, that this indication through this mudra, by this, abhinay. He says abhinay also is a pramana. Is Vedanta has this pramana, 6 pramanas Vedanta has. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, then Arthapatti, then Anupalabdhi, and Shabda Praman. Don't ask what are each of these, that you study by yourself. At the moment, I won't explain all these 6. Shabda Praman is this, what is revealed by the Upanishad, the Veda, Shabda Praman, the Mahavakya, etc. This whole thing is Shabda Praman. So these are 6 pramanas, Veda in Vedanta. Then he says the Aitihya, the historical praman, there is one more praman, and Sambhav praman. Puranas will accept Sambhav praman. Sambhav praman meaning what is a possibility. It is not there right now, but it's a future possibility. And the 9th one, he says, this the Natya Shastra will have, is Abhinay, by indicating through the physical hand and the body gestures. So he says Abhinay is also one praman. And here with the hand or with the finger, the teacher would have indicated possibly with one finger saying I am Atma Brahma, or with the hand saying this Atma is Brahman. So that's what Shankaracharya says here, that Pratyakshato Visheshena Nirdishati. Pratyakshato, Pratyaksha here not Praman. Pratyaksha here means as Aparoksha, as the self. As the self, as the Atma, enlivener of this BMI, this is being indicated. This Atma is that Brahman. So this is very unique explanation because this doesn't come for other things like tat tvam asi, tat tvam asi. There is no such indication given like that in the commentary, saying the teacher used some kind of a physical gesture, Here only it is said here, this I am Atma Brahma. This Atma is that Brahman. So this is the Mahavakya. And now he goes on to say, this Atma, Soyam Atma Chatushpat. What is this Atma? This Atma has 4 quarters. 4 quarters. Why 4 quarters? What are these 4 quarters? Do they mean quarters? This line we will take up in our next class because this requires a little more elaboration. So I don't want to start it now. Soyam Atma Chatushpat. For today we will stop here. Any questions? All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.